And we are live, I guess.
Yes,
Hi,
exactly.
everyone. Benny here, community manager for those awesome guys. And today we are here with master musician Jacob Lincke, which is
Hey.
also the guy to blame for the soundtrack of.
Yeah,
No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I
beautiful intro
love.
as
Yeah,
well.
it is one of the best intros I've ever done in my life.
Yes, thank you.
I mean,
Super happy to be here, Benny.
and I'm super happy to be here with you, to have you here, and also like the music for the intro, which is from Jacob, by the way, like we were just talking about that, is so good. I think next time we have to put it up for like 30 minutes before the stream goes out. 5 minutes is
I
not
wouldn't be so opposed
nearly
to
enough.
that.
I'm gonna talk to the management and either get it done or get fired. I don't care. So, Jacob,
Yeah.
we've been asked a lot about the music of the game, so there's gonna be a few people out there that are gonna be real happy about what we're gonna talk about, and I wanted to like ease us in the topic with some like quick questions about you, your personal life, your talent, what kind of sweets you like, what's your favorite dish, wherever, whatever. Let's start talking like how long have you been composing music for video games?
Um, I'd say about half my life. I'm
Wow.
34 years old now. I started quite late. I got my guitar in high school, and
So you mean you started playing instruments and you started composing for video games like contextually
no,
right there?
the video game parts came later after I've studied for a few years. Um,
Mm.
my interest for music started pretty much when I was 15 or something.
So
And
what's your like musical background?
yeah, so after uh, the regular Swedish school thing, I went to the University of Skövde here in Sweden to study music production. And back then, it was quite a different. Um, the scene of video game music was quite different. It was
What
not
do you
really
mean?
it wasn't really heard of that much.
Mm.
People didn't really know you could make a career into it.
I mean, it
Uh,
isn't something very like that you talk about a lot. Like music, most of the users they give it for a fact. It's there. They don't think
yeah,
about how much work lies behind it. Like we
yeah,
have,
exactly.
it's a niche argument.
It really is, and it really was back then as well. There were like a few big names out there that are still big today, but to like make it in the indie industry wasn't even heard
Mm.
of. But during my years at that school, I got in contact with some indie developers who were producing their first game, and they asked if I wanted to try my handsets
So like
composing some
music,
stuff.
music and games are like two things that you like, or games like
Oh
happen
yeah,
by chance.
definitely. I've always played games. I've been a
Oh
huge
yeah.
Nintendo fan since I was
Okay, so like this
very
is a
young.
due question then. What's your favorite game? Say Yellow Taxi
Um,
because you know
yeah,
you're
it,
here,
I
so
have
you
to
should
say
say
Yellow Taxi.
Yellow
I
Taxi,
mean,
of course.
favorite
Other
game
than
of
Yellow Taxi.
yeah, favorite game of all time. I'm not really sure I can answer that, but I've always loved the original Nintendo 64 Zelda games.
Mhm.
So those are very close to my heart. But also, for some reason, Super Mario Sunshine has always been
Okay.
very dear to me.
I see. I see. So are those like those games? I mean, do they count as an inspiration for your work, or your style has? You would say your style has nothing to do with that.
I think they do play a big part of my what I do. Um, Especially lately, when I've started to realize. I mean, back then I only played the games for what they
Mm,
were. I didn't really think about the music. But
okay.
now that when I play them as I'm older, I get a different perspective, and I see that a lot of what I do with my music comes from there. So
Hmm.
that's pretty cool to see. And originally, when I started music, I thought I actually wanted to do like movie scores and
Okay. Have you ever had a chance to
make
do
it in
that?
Hollywood.
Like if we if you want to check out something like from that side of your career, like have you made it?
I'm sorry,
Did you
what was
make
the
it?
question?
Like did you make it in the music scores?
I didn't. I did do like some short films
Mhm.
uh, just to try it out and see what it was like. But I found video game music was I had more freedom because
Okay,
I
that's
mean
interesting.
a film score is very static. You have to make something that works for this particular scene. When it comes to video game music, you have to make something work with an atmosphere, a general atmosphere,
Hmm.
which makes the
So
creative freedom, to me at least, much greater.
that's interesting. Like when I hear, and I guess this is a shared feeling, like with many of the people I've talked with about the game soundtrack. Like it's incredibly spot on.
Yeah, thanks.
So, is there a lot of research behind this type of project? Like when you work for the soundtrack of a game, or you
Um,
just go like you follow your guts?
yeah, with this game, I mean it's different with every game, but with this game, the developers had like a vision of what they wanted the music to sound like. So they shared that with me. I had to listen to a lot of new stuff I had never heard before, new styles I've never heard before. Uh, and that's something I really like about this, being challenged, trying something different and something.
Hmm.
And then after that, I can put my own touches on that kind of music, um, like what my strengths are. I can
Okay.
apply those to this new thing I've never done before. And the end results could be something like Yellow Taxi.
So, what are other projects that you worked on in the past, or if you're free
Yeah,
to
sure.
share, of course?
So that first original game back in 2014, I think it released. It was called Cloud Built. Was basically the start of my career, which led to a few different jobs after that. Um, I also did the music for Move or Die, also
Hmm.
published by those awesome guys.
Yeah, I think I
That
heard
was
of
very
that.
fun
Yeah.
because that was like a dynamic soundtrack with all the track had to work together and take it take over for each other. So that was pretty fun. And my last release was a game called Flynn, Son of Crimson, which
Okay,
was like
I'm definitely gonna check them all out.
yeah,
Like after we are done with this,
I
like drop
actually
me a
think
line and I'm
yeah
gonna
that
check
soundtrack
them all.
is very close to my heart. I really love the work I did on that. I'm very proud of it.
Hmm.
Um, it's like an orchestral medieval kind of fantasy sound.
Cool.
So
That sounds interesting.
I really enjoyed working on that, and now
Yeah,
I'm
and I
working on Yellow Taxi.
yeah, which is the reason why we're here. And let me tell you, this like piece of work is like extremely fun and very easy to listen to. Some of the tunes are absolutely on spot. Like we're gonna get to that like real soon. Before getting into the project, I wanted to ask you like if anyone wanted to get started in this line of business, is there like where would you suggest them to start from?
um, I mean, obviously the scene has changed since I started. So back there wasn't that much as much competition. But I
Hmm.
think my best advice is probably to never stop making music because if you do, you'll definitely not make it in the industry. So,
Okay.
but other than that, I'd say try to find opportunities to network. Always like hone your skills, try to improve, get better. Maybe check out some game jams, see if you can find like-minded people. I mean, it doesn't have to be like huge projects, huge games or whatever. It can be like small things you make over a weekend because all
Okay.
those things add up and make great portfolio in the end.
Okay, so you basically like do you do a lot of face-to-face networking, or it happens online? You have forms that you use to like
Um,
look for
yeah,
work or share
I
your work.
yeah, I try to go to like local events uh, to meet both people I already know, which also often leads to meeting new people. So having like a group of people around you that you trust and that trusts you, it can be really helpful for branching out and networking.
Okay.
I mean, if you start with nothing, it can feel like a daunting task to like how where do I start? Where do I network?
I mean, yeah, I was like imagining that maybe you would start like collaborating with someone, like you
Yeah,
know how
of
it
course.
works in this industry. You
Yeah.
basically
So you
ease
doesn't
in at the beginning and then
you don't have to necessarily start looking for uh, looking for work. You don't have to start looking for a client or whatever. You can start looking for people to write music together with, maybe for
yeah,
fun.
that's
Um,
a wholesome suggestion that just follow the passion and then
yeah,
the money will come will follow.
yeah, and the whole money bit is, I mean, I worked a part-time job for like 8 7 8 years, I think, and writing music on the side before I transitioned to making music full time. So it is not an easy task, and you have to be persistent.
Yeah, this is also a great success story, like very inspirational. We should start posting like LinkedIn posts about this sooner or later. But let's get to the business. Like we're talking music, and we're here because like people want to know like your creative process. So how about you explain what's going on the screen right
Yeah,
now?
sure,
We're
of
looking
course.
at
Yeah,
one of
so
your projects, like.
yeah, this is a project called Pizza Time for
Mhm.
Yellow Taxi. It was actually one of the first tracks I wrote for the game, where I didn't really know what kind of sound we were going for, but it ended up being pretty much spot on what we wanted for the rest of the game. So I think this is a good starting point for showcasing the music.
Mhm. Oh, well, there's a mandatory question before we,
Yeah,
we
sure.
start because you as you might have heard, the developers are Italians and I am from there as well. So this song is called Pizza Time. I have to ask you by law, what's your favorite pizza? Be
Ooh,
careful because you're like treading on thin ice.
I mean, sweet. I know, I know. I mean, Swedish pizza culture is a bit weird compared to like Italian. Um, I do really love. I mean, if I am in Italy, I will eat a classical uh, Italian pizza and love every second, like a margherita. Uh,
Mhm.
but we can't get that really in Sweden. So we have these weird things we put on it, like
Oh, come on. Like, if,
kebab.
we, if we're talking weird, weird things now, you have to go through it. You
We
said
have,
kebab.
yeah, we have a lot of sauces and such stuff that we put on it. Um, but I actually love like classical pizza with just what's it called? Is it ham, cheese and ham, pepperoni,
It's like
something like that?
margarita was like the very, it's like the base for all the other
Yeah,
pizzas. Like some would say marinara as well, but margarita works. Like that's the most old style classic thing you
yeah.
could possibly go with. So okay, we're done with pizza. You're like promoted. You passed the test.
I did eat pineapple pizza when I was young, though.
Yeah, everyone does mistakes, and let's get to the. Sorry for you, pineapple pizza lovers out there.
I
Let's
probably
talk.
will enjoy one today as well. But
Let's talk about the project. Like, talk us through it. What are we looking at right here?
yeah, so first, when we discussed what kind of sound we wanted, I had some references from other games that they showed me. There were games like Super Mario Galaxy, um, uh, any Super Mario games. Um, the the main point I took away from that was that there was a strong emphasis on very memorable and strong melodies.
Mhm.
So that's I'd say is one of my strengths when it comes to writing music. So I really took that to heart and tried to create something new but memorable.
So where do you usually start from? Like when you, because I can't imagine like putting something together like that. Like you have to have a starting point. Like you do research or you sketch something and then you, I don't know, develop on it. Well, how's your creative process
Yeah,
working?
I try to switch up my creative process with every new project, perhaps even with every new track. Because if I change my process of creating something, I usually create a new outcome as well. If I do the
Hmm.
same every time, like starting up a template or always pick up my guitar, I will always get the same kind of thing.
Hmm.
But if
Makes
I
sense.
try to like, what if I start with a like bassoon? What will I come up with then?
Okay.
And
So
like
what are you looking at?
lean into the strengths of
Oh.
a different instrument, kind of.
Hmm.
So I try to learn a little bit about all the instruments I use, how they're played in reality, and how I could
So out
work
of
with those.
curiosity, how many instruments can you play? Like
Zero.
that? Come on.
I can kind of
I mean,
I play a half bad guitar. That's pretty much it. The rest
okay,
is this pretty good instrument.
okay,
I click most of the things, um, or I use this to like hammer down stuff and then fix them to make them sound better
okay.
with this. So it it's a lot of time, but it also takes a lot of time learning instruments. So this is what I've
Oh, it
learned.
does. So you mentioned that we have the project for pizza time here,
Yeah,
and let's see how it developed. Like, where
sure. So for
did
this
you
track,
start
I
from? Yeah.
actually started using a simple piano because piano is very good when it comes to like uh, finding. I mean, I want to work with chords and melodies simultaneously to find a strong and memorable melody. So it might be a little boring start for a process to use like a piano, but I think it works pretty well with this. So
Okay.
this is what the piano part
Looks
and
like.
the actual track looked like before I had done
Okay.
everything else.
Can we listen to it? Like,
Sure,
just this, and then we see how it develops.
sure.
Okay.
There we are.
I can kind of recognize it from the game. I mean,
Yeah,
it's just a
uh,
little teeny tiny piece of what it is in the
yeah,
end.
it really is. I mean, when I write something like this, it sounds a bit different in my head because I imagine all the other instruments around this piece.
Okay.
So I imagine the melody played by a completely different instrument, and I imagine the percussion and all the rhythms that goes with that. So um, this is just for me to like remember what I just wrote, basically, and then I
So
work.
this is like like the general idea of what you're
Yeah,
working with, like a sketch. If you were an
yeah,
artist,
exactly.
like
And it usually develops into
I
something
mean, if
very
you were,
different.
you actually are. I mean, if you were like
Yeah, yeah,
a
yeah,
painter, I'm not an
yeah, exactly.
artist.
And it usually develops into something completely different. But this is a cool starting point, I think, because
Hmm.
uh, I mean, the first idea I get is usually the best one. I try to develop it, but I always like fall back into that first idea because If I
Okay.
came up with this in the early stages, this was probably worth coming up with. So
Uh-huh. Yeah, well, that's a very like nice way of thinking about your first ideas. I mean, your approach to me, it sounds unique because like
thank
in my creative processes, which are nothing similar to yours, as
you. Yeah.
obviously, I always like tended to can the first idea. Like it was the laziest one for me.
Yeah, but those can
So
be really
you
good.
have
I have like
very
a
good faith in
general,
that.
yeah, I have like a general rule for myself because I
Uh-huh.
often come up with ideas as I like cook dinner or is out on a stroll or whatever. So if I get an idea, then if I don't remember it time I'm finished with what I'm doing, it's not worth remembering. Um,
That makes
so when I'm back
surprisingly
from my walk,
sense.
how was that melody? Oh, I don't remember. Then it was probably crap. But if I do remember it and start humming it along during the day, it's probably worth saving that idea. So that's how
So
I
for a
usually do
song
it.
to be catchy, it has to be catchy for you first, and
Yes,
then you start
absolutely.
working from the. That
Yes.
is like a very good approach. And how about we add some spice to it, like add some other instruments to what
Sure, sure.
you.
So with this soundtrack, I tried to think of it like Super Mario, a modern take on Super Mario 64 music, but
Mhm.
also on steroids. So I had to add like
I mean,
lots of
if someone was looking at the game, he would have said on mushrooms, but we can't talk about this stuff here, so let's go on with the music.
yeah, but I wanted it to have more intensity, uh,
Mm.
which is where the whole Eurobeat thing came into play.
Okay,
So now there's the electronics part I can show you.
okay. Electronics then.
It basically starts over.
People are jamming to this.
So, yeah, I mean, it sounds pretty cool as it is, but obviously I did capture the melodies and the chords I wanted in this electronic piece, but I wanted to make it sound big, grand, triumphant, like you're on a
Mhm.
quest, on a journey.
Pompous.
Yeah. So how else could you do that except for using a full orchestra? So
Oh, that makes much sense. Yeah. So you put an orchestra there.
yeah, this project is actually pretty thin compared to many others I work on. Um, but you can see here I have some strings and some percussions, some brass instruments. I try to color everything to make it, and believe it or not, all of my projects are this.
Discolored.
Yeah, they're. I mean, they're. I try to keep things tidy in my project.
Okay.
Uh, it's easy to just let go and not do that and have everything gray and unnamed. But I try to keep things tidy because it helps in the long run.
There's a lot of yellow there, which you know,
Yeah,
being
because
the game called
bra-
Yellow Taxi.
Yeah,
Perfect.
the whole brass
Hit
section is basically what makes things
some
viable.
brand. So let's hear a little bit about
Sure.
this orchestra part.
So
Oh, it's
there's
getting more and more complicated there.
just activate. Ah, never mind. Oh, I forgot about those. There we go. Can make things a little
Okay, so
easier.
we go
There we go.
for.
And this is only the orchestra, and then we're gonna hear everything put together after this.
Okay.
Yes, I've probably kept some of that Hollywood spirit when I write the music
Yeah,
because I
it's
still really
grand.
love that kind of music in game scores.
And then we put all the pieces together and we have a full version. So what we're gonna do now, let's first hear it from here, and then I'll just go in game and we listen to it while I drive around the stage, which is pizza time.
Awesome.
How
Sounds
about
great.
that?
All right.
All right. So one thing that I was thinking about, do you like play the stages before composing music for them, or like you base your work on a description of what the devs want, like, or
Yeah,
maybe how sometimes
more
it happens,
often.
sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, more often than not, I don't get to play
Hmm.
anything before I get started on composing. It depends on how early on I'm involved in the process. With Yellow
Okay.
Taxi, I've been able to play pretty much everything almost from start.
Oh,
So that's been
okay.
incredible. But mostly I get to see like some artwork and maybe some lore about the game. And a
Nice.
general atmosphere of what they want the music to be.
Okay, so let's see how it works in game, right?
Yeah, sure.
Let's switch to the
I'm gonna watch.
game. Like, yeah.
And by the way, I also did all the sound effect for the game, so you
Oh,
can
that's
listen
also
to
an
that.
interesting thing. Like, is it a really different job, like working on sound effects, if compared to
Yeah,
working on soundtrack? Like, what do you prefer any of that? Like working on composing or
I
something?
mean, they're basically two different jobs, I'd say. Uh, but I really love doing them both for one game because then the two together becomes a unity rather than having two separate things try to work
Yeah,
together.
right.
So, I mean, I feel blessed being able to do both.
Wow. Okay, let's hear some game music. And here we go, pizza time. This is one of the best intros like ever. Like honestly, I love this. And this stage is home of some of the like craziest interactions in the game. Like I didn't mean to do that. I just wanted to get some. It adds to the general chaos of the game. Like it's honestly real cool.
At the same time, we wanted the player to feel like you're on a new adventure. Basically.
Time extended. Psychotic.
And all the screams you hear from people you run over.
That's also your job.
Yeah, that's me and my wife screaming.
Really? Another pizza slice. Are these horns your job as well? I'm gonna like give some more music and some less sounds.
Yeah, the horns were pretty funny to do. I did find some like super old-timey car horns that I could use.
Also loving the music that you can hear when you get the gears.
Yeah, awesome. But some of the horns I had to make from scratch by using like synthesizers.
Psychotic.
From scratch.
Yeah, so I used like different tones, put them together to make.
Time extended.
This wasn't intentional. In fact, I'm not going. I just wanted to blow that thing up to get the gear. And now that we have a little bit of time, I wanted to check, like, oh yeah, Granny, hi.
You have to talk to Granny. Maybe you can.
No, yeah, you have to be kind, but you're a young mechanical being. Could you help those old bones of mine at crossing the road? Of course, ma'am. That's exactly why we're here, and we quite literally crossed the road for her.
So
Awesome, awesome. Okay, I tried to do that. There once was a very wise man that was suggesting me to learn how to backflip here. I will eventually learn how to do that. Not right now though.
Don't do that off screen. Yeah, it's funny because
Ooh,
I- this is one of few games I work on that I actually play when I'm not working because it's so much fun.
no, yeah, it's like everything about this game is super catchy. Like once I started playing it, I couldn't not stop thinking about it. It's I was kind of obsessed at the beginning. There's something specific that I'm looking for. Like when I started the stage, I mentioned some crazy interaction. There's one that I wanted to find, and let's see if I can. It should be around here.
I'm just impressed you can talk and play at the same time.
Oh man, like, believe me, I'm struggling. 3 months ago. I mean, I'm
Time extended.
hitting half of the population of Pizza Time, but yeah, whatever, that's...
Sky cupcake.
I think it's here. No, it's not. So this is the starting point, and I wanted to go here, maybe? Yeah, this is it. Like, honestly, when I found this dialogue, I was like, dude, this is like very, very deep.
Oh no, Granny.
Granny, like, okay. And yeah, look at those giant pizzas, like mesmerizing.
Look at those legs.
Yeah, right? Like,
Time extended.
we have another one there.
Time extended.
And there's also some secrets now. Let's go into one of those pizza oven-shaped pizzerias.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can tell you, like, I tried to do that, like, many... It takes a little bit of practice, so... These are meatballs, too. See what happens if we go in here.
Oh
This part of the track is also perfectly on spot, like...
Time extended.
yeah, I mean the game is obviously very retro inspired, so,
Oh yeah,
but it still
Like-
feels new and modern. So we
it
obviously-
does. Like, it's a
Get
love
that.
letter to the things the devs really liked about video
Yeah.
games. Where's the... Oh, yeah.
Time extended. Time
Why didn't I
extended.
get... Okay.
Yeah, and this track I just try to use everything I have learned on the previous tracks and go crazy with it.
This is like, it pumps the adrenaline up. Like, it honestly worked. Another one of my favorite tracks is the gym track. Like, maybe we go there like during another live stream, because that deserves a whole other like video just for that. I am
and that was
like-
basically a whole new genre as well.
It is. That's the good thing. The thing that I really love about this soundtrack, like, it changes. Like, it's incredibly different. Every place has its own, and it works nice. But what it's like, I'm sorry if I sound a little bit distracted. I was looking at the nose with the hair coming down from the nostrils, and to this day, I'm still wondering why is that. Some of the details here.
I mean, this game is all about the details.
It is all about the details. Like it's a work of love, and you can really tell that. So we also unlocked. Hey there, these like corrupted cars over here. So annoying.
Pietro.
So let's give the guy this one ride.
Stop it.
Yeah, I know where he's coming from. Okay, so this is pizza time. We heard the soundtrack, like in the making of the soundtrack, it was super, super interesting. We can. Oh, so sorry, Grandma.
No.
Yeah, no, I totally didn't do that on purpose, but as you might know, like it happens in this game. Let's calm down. Like I can see my heart beat. Like my heart is racing. The adrenaline is pumping. I'm way too old for this. No, I'm joking. I love this.
This
I would
game
do
does
this.
that
Like
to you.
it does that. So I think like this was super super fun, Jacob, to see how you put your tracks together and how it sounds in the game, and it's been incredibly fun.
And I'm
Um,
so happy I got to show because I never get to.
oh well, if you had fun now, we can do this anytime you want,
Oh, definitely.
and yeah, maybe like since we talked about that, next time we do the gym or Arcade Panic, that's another thing that like it's another track that I really like. Plus, well, uh, we got Pizza Time in the demo now. Like, we should inform people watching us that there's a new demo out there for Yellow Taxi Goes Vroom, which is it went live like some days ago for the Steam Next Fest. Try it; it rocks. Like, there's a bunch of new stuff in it. There's a lot of more gears to find. We're already receiving some requests of help, like people that can find them. We've seen some influencers out there trying the game. We're very happy about how things are going right now, and do try it. Like, I promise it's worth it. Jacob will be happy. I will be happy. Luca behind the curtains, like directing this whole live stream, will be super happy about this. Hi, Luca, by the way. And yeah, it's available now on Steam, and there's a bunch of tracks in it, and Jacob did them all, and he's a really good composer. Yeah,
And check out the Discord channel as well.
yes, exactly. We are there. Like literally all of us, Jacob too. So if you want to ask us questions, if you need help with the demo, or like if you just want to hang out or show your speedrun, like we're there, and we like to hang out with our players, have fun with them. So yeah, catch up with us on Discord. We're on Twitter as well, and you'll find all the links that you can possibly need on our Steam on our Steam store page. So yeah, this has been incredibly fun. I think it's about time to wrap up. And Jacob, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was a real pleasure.
And it was real fun, and it was super interesting to like look at how you build up your incredible tracks, and hopefully we're gonna hear more. And
Maybe next time I can go even deeper and like show how I create the instruments, because some of them I create from scratch through synthesizers as well. So that could be
that
interesting to some, perhaps.
Oh well, it could be interesting to me. I didn't know that. Now that I do, oh yeah, let's make this happen. Definitely.
Cool.
So yeah, we are like our time is kind of up. So yeah, let's say bye, and everyone following us and joining us today, thank you for watching us. Hope you had as much fun as we did. I mean, I say we. I'm just assuming you did have fun, Jacob.
I had an awesome
I-
time.
because I had a ton. And
Oh,
thank
are
you
we done
guys.
yet?
No, oh, no, you're right. Yeah, it's yeah, we are done. Thank you everyone for joining us.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
check out the demo again and the Steam page. Yay!
Yes.
Bye.
Bye. Take care.